This episode of Gunpla History is brought to you by Hobbling Japan, my favorite online hobby store who provided me with the master grade GP02 used in this video. Links to buy it and more in the description down below. On May 23rd, 1991, the first two episodes of Gundam 0083 were released in Japan and would treat us to the Gundam GP02 Physalis, also known as Gundam Unit 2. And it's not difficult to see what made this thing so popular. Literally everything was working to its advantage. Despite being a bundle of armor plates, they managed to make this thing look awesome. It still has that traditional Gundam sleekness, and thanks to those massive thrusters on the shoulders, this thing was actually still a beast in close combat. Combine that with an awesome pilot and an equally awesome series that is still really fun to watch today, and you've got a recipe for perfection. And that nuke was of course a nice shining cherry on top. And so Unit 2 would get its very own Gunpla in July of the same year. And if you thought that it looked awesome in the show, then you'd better look away, because I think this model kit got caught up in its own nuclear explosion. First things first, what the hell went wrong with the colors? It's got the right ones on the box, so how did they manage to screw up this badly? It's supposed to be an off-white, light beige color, and instead it's gray, black, and blue. And for anyone willing to forgive this because it is an old model, compare this with the 1989 Gym Command. Unit 2 is 1000 yen, and the Gym is 500 yen. Literally half the price, and I think I know which one I would have preferred back then. And even if you go the extra mile and paint the whole thing, you would still be met with proportions that aren't exactly up to snuff and shoulder binders that don't move. And those are like the second big feature of the GP02 after the nuke. It wasn't great back then, and it's definitely only gotten worse. But fortunately for fans of tactical nukes, they would get a master grade almost exactly 6 years later. At 4,000 yen, it might have been 4 times as expensive, but it was also infinitely better at everything. It had the correct colors, the shoulders moved like they should, it could store the nuke in the backpack, and so much more. This thing literally did everything someone from 1998 would have wanted out of a GP02 model kit. Fast forward 24 years, and this thing is definitely showing its age though. It still looks amazing, but you're definitely gonna notice some things like limited articulation, substantial parts that still need painting, and the overall quality of the detailing being lower. Or have a look at the pilot figure that's included. Is it a Zeon pilot? Is it a Federation pilot? I don't know, but if you ask me, it looks more like Doom Guy with that helmet. But what's probably going to be the most shocking for some people is the GP02's inner frame, or lack thereof. In the early days of the master grades, having a full inner frame wasn't a thing yet. Instead, they just showed some internal detail. And this amount of inner frame was definitely par for the course with contemporary master grades. But let's put that armor back on and have a look at a more shiny version of the GP02. In December of 1999, Bandai released a coded version of the master grade as part of the 20th Gundam anniversary. And I don't think you need me to tell you that this thing is both a fingerprint magnet and also has quite some visible nub marks. Other than the color then, the only differences with the regular version are of course the price, and also that it comes with a 1/20th scale Gato figure. In January of 2000 then, someone at Bandai thought, you know what this beast of a mobile suit lacks? Cuteness. And so that month we got the BB Senshi GP02, an adorable, super deformed, but fully featured version of this harbinger of death. Despite costing only 800 yen, the color separation was pretty commendable, And it also had fully functional shoulders, things that the more expensive 1/144th scale didn't offer. But soon, people would be able to forget all about that old clunker thanks to the new high-grade Universal Century kit that came out in 2006. And this was a very exciting time for the high-grade line because around this time, we were seeing the first big leap in quality. And it really shows on the GP02. It's still one of the few high grades that has a separate wrist joint, and in order to hold up that massive shield, the handle isn't just the usual round handle, but it's got some pegs sticking out to actually lock it into place. The articulation then is a bit more average, but still commendable considering the bulk that this thing is packing. And since we're on the topic of bulk, ironically enough, the proportions of the smaller high grade make it feel more chunky compared to the more lean master grade. The only things then that will be traded at this is a kit from the mid-2000s are the stickers required for some of the smaller details, like the yellow stripes on the shoulder boosters and gray for the head vents. And one really nice accessory is the stand that it comes with. It might not move, but it does come with two options for the angle, and it more than does the job for putting your GP02 in a nuclear launch position. Or you can attach the extra angle to the base, and then attach an extra piece that it comes with, so you can also display the full Burnion alongside your GP02. Basically, it's an easy diorama. 2,000 yen then does put it at the more expensive end of the high grades, even today, but it is very much worth it. And for the love of God, don't think about saving some money by getting the old 1/144th scale.
Oh no!
And Bandai was such a fan of the high-grade Universal Century that they released two variants of it. The first one was the GP02 Type-MLRS in February of 2007. And don't let this name deceive you. While it does come with the MLRS, the multi-launch rocket system, it also comes with a beam bazooka, which is another version of the GP02. The aptly named GP02 Beam Bazooka type. And for only 200 yen more than the vanilla GP02, this is definitely a great deal. But there are some other differences to take into account. Because of the weapons, it now comes with a simpler looking backpack, the stand is no longer included, and the coloring is now light gray instead of light beige. Now, in some depictions, you will see this color change represented, so you can take it however you want. Did they screw up the color, or is this just some extra differentiation between these two versions and the regular GP02? And then for the second variant, we have to go way into the future. April 2020 to be exact. From the Gundam Build Diver series, we got the Gundam GP-Rase-Two-Ten, or GP-Rase-Two-Ten, a very demonic version of the GP02. And not only can you build this thing as the upgraded Rase-Two-Ten, you can also build the normal Rase-Two. And don't be fooled by the fact that this is officially a remold of the GP02, because most of the parts used by this thing are actually brand new. We get the original torso with slightly modified legs and joints for the arms, meaning that purely from a quality point of view, this is the best GP02 you can get in 1/144th scale. It even comes with a new hip joint to give it slightly more articulation. But this is sadly where the GP02's model kits end, for now. So let's talk about what the future could hold for GP02 Gunpla. And I personally think the two most realistic options are either a Master Grade 2.0 or a Real Grade. For the Master Grade, the GP02 was the 13th Master Grade, and by now, almost all of the ones that came before it have received a 2.0. The exceptions being the GP01, GP01 Full Burnion, and the Gelgook High Mobility Type Johnny Raiden Custom. Although for the latter, at least the Standard and Commander type Gelgooks did get a 2.0, so with some effort you can make your own 2.0. And this even goes for most of the kits that came directly after it. The Mark IIs, the Jim, the Doms, kinda, the Jim Quell, etc. So to me, it feels like the GP02 should be very close to being next in line for a 2.0. But then again, I've been thinking that about the Zaku one for years now.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
Moving along to the real great possibility. The first reason is that we've already gotten the GP01 and the GP01 Full Burnian, so the GP02 should, again, be one of the next kits up for consideration. And the second reason is that when you look at the latest real grades, there have been quite some bulky machines that have gotten awesome redesigns. And I think that the GP02 with all of its armor plates, moving mechanisms, and cooling systems would be absolutely perfect for this. There's just so much potential here for extra vents, extra moving things, and much more. It definitely wouldn't be cheap, but it would be a sight to behold. And that has been all for the GP02's Gunpla history. Let me know down below which one is your favorite GP02 model kit and what you hope they will do in the future for this big boy. Again, thanks to Hobbling Japan for providing me with the master grade, link down below. As always, a big thank you to the Patreon supporters. I hope everyone watching has a great day, and I'll see you all next time.